them through the plan she'd fleshed out with Mrs. Frobisher. After her morning of digging, Annie had gone to Vicky Park to watch a practical demonstration by an advisor from the borough's horticultural committee at a modest allotment. She'd come away brimming with ideas. Their allotment was to be a registered war charity, affiliated to the National Allotment Society and run by a committee led by the chairman of Bryant and May, Mrs. Frobisher, the head of Fairfield Works, and Annie. All the produce they grew would be sold to raise funds to support relief organisations, including the Next of Kin Prisoners of War Club, run by St John's Ambulance, the British Red Cross, and the Women's Voluntary Service. "Anyone else want to sit on the committee?" Annie asked. A silence fell over the table. "We trust you to deal with that side of things, Annie," Millie remarked, jokingly flexing her biceps. "You be the brains, we'll be the brawn." "Very well. Just think, me, a match girl on a committee alongside the chairman," Annie breathed. "I hope I don't get tongue-tied at our meetings." "What do I always say?" Millie asked. "Hold your head up," Annie ventured. "That's right," Millie said. "You're as good as any of them." "If not better," Rose smiled. "Thanks, girls," grinned Annie. "It's so exciting. There's so much to learn. I don't even know where to start," she gabbled, pulling out more paper from her bag. "Here's our objectives." Rose began to read and quickly felt her head start to swim. To promote the interests of allotment holders and gardeners, to cooperate with any committee set up by the government, local authorities and other bodies to further the interest of allotment holders, to ensure good management of land, to protect the allotment from damage, trespass and theft, to take part in the national effort and dig for victory. We'll develop the site in the yard behind the office block into a 10-rod allotment, and the other one on the site of the old girls' club at the recreation ground will be bigger, twice the size. Annie was excited now, scarcely pausing for breath. "We'll have to build a potting shed, a tool shed, and start developing a compost heap at both sites." "Where will we get the seeds from?" Pearl asked. "Seeds, seedlings, fertilisers and insecticides can be bought cost price from the Allotment Subcommittee of the LCC Allotments Council," Annie remarked, looking pleased with herself. "I'm sure Woolworths sell Cuthbert seeds for a penny a packet," Rose added. "And how will we divide our time between the two sites?" asked Millie. "It's quite a trek from the yard to the recreation ground." "Easy," Annie grinned. "Mrs. Frobisher's bagged 2 bikes from the factory cycling club. They're only rattly old sit-up and beg affairs, but it'll mean we can zip between the 2 sites." "Annie, this is great and all, but it's an awful lot of work for 4 girls," Rose added cautiously. "We can't expect Ted and his men to always spare time to help us out." "Ah, but we won't be on our own, Rose," Annie replied. "Mrs. Frobisher will be asking for volunteers from the factory, local businesses and schools. Also, she's looking into it, and apparently there's something called a soldier gardener scheme, which means trained gardeners in units can be detailed on their leave to work in Dig for Victory schemes." "Nice, we'll have a bit of muscle about the place," Millie said, raising one eyebrow. "Behave you," Annie said, poking her. "Also, the Ministry of Agriculture have formed the Young Farmers Club and might be able to send a chap with a bit of know-how to help out, as long as they're photographed for a propaganda piece." "Sounds like we won't be short of helping hands," Pearl said. "Or men," added Millie, grinning slyly. "On the subject of which, look what I found pinned to the notice board this morning." Rose groaned inwardly. She knew that smile usually meant trouble. Millie pulled out a letter from her tunic pocket and, clearing her throat, began to read. "We are 2 sailors desperate to hear from girls. We neither of us receive any mail whatsoever, unless it's an income tax form. As you may well imagine, it's not very pleasant to sit on the mess deck watching other chaps read letters while we have to make do with copies of the Daily Mirror." "Millie," Annie interrupted, We're supposed to be talking about the